as we playing with the lid. As we sit here in our, sometimes we get stuck in ourselves. Sometimes we get stuck in ourselves. Sometimes we get stuck in moments and periods in time in ourselves that help us, that we think are helping us, but is actually hindering us. Got it in the background right there. Yeah. Feeling real good right now. It's my death day. 27th forever, 2-9. Just turned 3. There's moving into the chapter of 36 means the aspects of 3 plus 9 equals the end of the cycle. So, death day vibes. But today is the only day that matters. Today is the only day that matters. From today, we understand that today is the only day that matters. Today is the only day that matters. Today's, because from this day, from this point where you are at now, you realize everything is a reflection. Realizing everything is a reflection, then you start understanding everything's meant to be, everything is either to be experienced or observed. And what can stop a lot of us is the patterns of what we're used to, the patterns of our experiences. The patterns of our experiences can stop us from accepting what others observe that can actually help us heal, bring ourselves into that good space. I call it the well. I got it written over here, so I'm reading it, as y'all see me looking over. I call it the well. The necessary and qualitative foundation that is in the prerequisite to establishing in the subconscious mind, the storehouse of information, and is vital to understanding. It is vital to understand the patterns as they are the information that we build from. The depth is only available in the now. The depth is only available in the now. That means in this moment where you are at right now, this is where the depth is. This is where the depth is. Right now, in this moment, right now in this moment, that's the only place that you're going to find the depth that is needed to plant your seed. Only in the aspect of depth is only available to you in the now state. Depth is only available to us in the now state. It's only available in the state of now. That means the only way that you're going to be able to plant that seed the only way that you're going to be able to plant that seed is only in the now. You can't keep planting the reason that a lot of us come into this space and we keep falling into these old patterns is because we keep trying to plant the seeds of what we're learning now into that past pattern. We stay in this state of hyper alertness. We stay in this place of hyper alertness with ourselves. We stay in this space of this hyper alertness with ourselves and trying to make things fit, trying to make things work, trying to make things happen in that space. That's all based on, and that's what we got into in this week's episode of the God Hour podcast. We got into hypervigilance or PTSD. PTSD, and one of the main ones that I wanted to get into was hypervigilance. Hypervigilance is this being in this state of staying in a hyper alert state, always looking for the danger. As we are growing, as we are coming into our higher, as we moving into this higher aspect of ourselves, I saw a post the other day where it's like, we have to challenge. I saw a post the other day and it said we have to challenge what our elders once taught us. We have to challenge what our elders once taught us. And then I saw people put under there, they got emotional, like, we can't challenge, we can't challenge the elders, they laid the groundwork. Just like, and this goes into the aspects of understanding the correspondence with the trauma. The same thing that our elder teachers from Bobby Hemmett, Phil Valentine, Brother Panic, all of these individuals, we have to challenge this we have to challenge this based on responding, learning how to respond. That's how we gain information. And not doing it based on reaction, based on impulse. That means to try to get a feeling, try to get a feeling. Because what you notice now, especially now with Venus, Aquarius, 7 planets being in Aquarius right now, you're noticing in your space right now that there's going to be a lot of things that are going to trigger the old aspects of you. You may have thought that, I'm good. I've been doing my meditation. I've been doing my work. But now you may be noticing right now that there's going to be events that are going to be happening. They're going to seem isolated events that are going to trigger you more than you've ever been triggered before. This is the reason why. Because you are shifting to you're shifting into your more authentic self. As we're shifting into our authentic self, we have to address that storehouse, the vital information that we once used, to keep our atmosphere at a space to where we can breathe. You're noticing now that the atmosphere that you're in, you're starting to choke in that atmosphere. You're starting to know any atmosphere outside of the atmosphere that you built in your personal space, you're starting to choke. You're starting to get real choky. You're starting to get real smoky in there. There's a reason for that. Where you're going, where you've always been going, everything that you're trying to get into and tap into is not going to involve anything. It's not going to involve any of the aspects of your past. I.e. of the way that you put that shit together. The way that you're used to waking up every day. Yes, the way that you used to waking up every single day and applying the same measures, and you got something out of it. I've said this before in a lot of lives and the lectures. The old things that we get used to, because we got something out of it, we like to continue. Like for me, for example, I'll use me for an example. The way that I used to get up, the way that I would get up for work, I carried that program into me building what I do now, building as I build now. I talked about it in the podcast. But I remember like how I used to wake up for work. Okay, I got to go to work. I got to be at work at, let's say I got to be at work at 8 o'clock. Got to be at work at 7. Got to be at work, whatever time I had to be at work. I would wait to that hours before to wash my clothes. So my clothes I would wash my clothes, dry my clothes while I'm getting ready for work. So I had a sense of me needing to rush. You give yourself the need to rush. You give yourself that need to rush because it's based on an old pattern. You give yourself a reason to rush. I have no reason to rush. I woke up today. Today is my death day. Appreciate all of that. Appreciate all of the love on that. Treat yourself. Do something nice. Use the promo code capital P, capital L, the number 216 at the code Alchemy and get 30% off your whole order. Get yourself something nice on my death day. I don't want this. Get yourself something nice. But we put ourselves into this space where we keep following this old pattern. And I had to notice that I was building this old pattern based off the information that I once used, in that sense, the old information that I was using based on myself. The old way that I used to hold myself, not holding myself accountable. So now I can have a reason. So now if I was late for work, if I was 5 minutes late to work, I had a reason. Man, I was washing my clothes. And I forgot to turn the dryer on, or I forgot to do this, and this. You give yourself the excuse. Nothing's stopping you but you. Nothing's stopping you but you. You give yourself the excuse. You can't see. We give ourselves these excuses so we can better sit we can sit where we're at and be like, you know what? Yeah, because I had to do this and I had to do that and I got to do this. But what about this? But what was your original intent when you set into that position? You already said to yourself that you didn't like that job. So everything that's coming up is going to give you more reason not to like your job. You already said that you was done with that relationship. You already said you was done with that relationship, that friendship. It was on the rocks. So everything that's coming into your space is going to gravitate towards that initial thought. Your interest Your interest is based on, your interest will always reflect, the effort is a reflection of your effort. Your efforts reflect your interest. So whatever you're saying to yourself when you start your day, that's why I always say it's always important that realizing that, how are you starting your day? How are you building inside of your, how are you programming your day when you first wake up? What's the first thing you're doing? If you wake up in the beginning of your day, for example, you wake up in the beginning of your day and you want to start paying bills, you want to pay off some bills, you are acknowledging to your identity, you're acknowledging in your identity that your job is to pay off your job. What you're doing, you're actually doing it unconsciously, so you don't really catch the pattern. That's how we get caught. So it's okay to wake up and pay your bills, but what are you acknowledging? That when I wake up, I have some things I got to pay off. Because until you acknowledge it, when I wake up, I got to start getting to this money. I got to start getting to my energy first. Because you're going to we always put ourselves in this space a lot of times, shifting from the independence to self-sufficiency. Because remember what I've said before, independence is based on, your independence is based on being independent of something, or something being independent of you. So something's independent of you. So now ask yourself a question. What are you independent of outside of yourself? Think about everybody that you said. Everybody said that I couldn't make it, I couldn't do it, I couldn't be the best, I couldn't do this. What is that? Who was the first person that told you you couldn't do something? Who was the first person in your life told you couldn't do something? A lot of times it's your mother, a lot of times it's your father, a lot of times it's that maternal or that paternal figure that was in your life that stopped you. From that moment, you built that pattern. You took that information in, and it always leads to that. This is how you get stuck in the emotional channels. This is how you get stuck in a lot of emotional channels. But in order to understand and become into the higher aspects of yourself, I want you to take this moment to yourself. Really start taking moments to yourself. Really start taking them moments to yourself. Really start sitting there like, you know what? I need to really look at myself in the mirror. I really need to look at myself in the mirror for real. Just when I woke up, I'm live as fuck right now. When I woke up, the first thing that I got all my stuff, did my meditation. All of a sudden, I was doing yoga. My body, I was just in the mood. I was like doing yoga, did my stretches, did my little workout or whatever. And then I'm sitting there in that space, and then I'm looking at a picture of myself from 2017. I'm gonna make the post later. I'm looking at a picture of myself from 2017. If anybody's recently seen me, I made another post about an hour of shadow work that I had to do with myself back in 2000, like back then, and how I look. And I looked at this picture and I was like, who is this person? Who is this person? That person doesn't compute to me. This is you understanding yourself on that level. Everything that you've been through up to this point, if you've been doing it through the aspects of the old guise of fear, the hyper alertness, if you feel like something's happening to you, it has to be racist. If you feel like something has to happen to you and it's because they racist, they don't like whatever, cool. Let them be whatever they are. Do not subscribe to it, because that's where you're getting stuck at. When you subscribe to something, you put your emotion into it. Similar to if you when you want to go to the gym, when you want to go work out, you subscribe to your emotions. That gym subscription is based on your emotions. That's why it can't be consistent. That job that you go into is based on emotional content, based on an emotional context, the hyper alertness of your emotions, the hyper vigilance in your emotions. That's why you can't consistently do your best at that job without something there telling you that you can't do it. Something outside of you challenging you. A lot of us move in a state of reaction. A lot of us stop moving in that state of reaction. It's time to address that well. It's time to address that well. Only in the dark can you get, only in right now, today being the only day that's standing in this moment of now, can you gain the depth to plant that seed. And I hope that I planted that seed. If you are interested in any of my services, if you're interested in a reading, hit me up in the inbox, set up that appointment. Hit me up in the inbox set up that appointment. If you're interested in shadow work, a shadow work consultation to get that inner child work, start really picking at that shadow, hit me up for that consultation. Hit me up in the inbox, or you can hit me at GODalchemistLLC.com. Tonight we get live. I might play this tonight, because I got some music playing in the background. I like that group. Tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Rock calling me via Facebook Live. We do the God Hour show. Tonight we are getting into, at the end of, if you go, I'm going to get to that next. Jumping ahead. We're going to get into the hyper complex vortex. You trying to stay within one side of yourself, which is the feminine, or the other side of yourself, which is the masculine. When we read things about hypermasculinity and hyperfemininity, or the hyperfeminine or the hypermasculine, it's not based on the person. Because I've said it before. Just because you got a dick don't mean you the divine. That does not mean, it doesn't give you a pass that you the divine masculine. And just because you got a vagina, just because you got some poom poom, does not mean that you got the automatic pass to your divine feminine. It's all about the aspects of the balance, seeing what triggers you, bringing that corresponding together. And that's what we're getting into tonight. The hyper complex vortex, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We doing live. I do the live readings. After we do quick Q&A, live readings, it's going to be a party tonight. Tune in for that. Before you tune into that, God Hour Podcast. This week's episode is Hypervigilance, streaming now on multiple channels. Links is all over my page. I'm going to put another link up in a little bit. But I want you to be the fucking best. I want you to be the fucking best. I desire you to be the fucking best. I need you to be the fucking best. Because that's what I desire. That's what I want. That's what I need for myself. That's what I value in myself. Today is the only day that matters. Remember, every experience that you've been through is not going to be, you will not find closure. You're not going to find closure based on somebody else experiencing it. You're going to start finding it in others observing you on their observation. It's time for you to fucking heal. Everything lead back to shadow work. I love you. You love us. Ashe.